Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Dave, aka the Costume Kid, and today we're going to be making a Lando Calrissian costume. The new movie Solo: A Star Wars Story comes out very soon, and I'm really looking forward to it. That being said, I made a Han Solo costume, I believe a little over a year ago now, and I didn't know what to do. So if you want to see how to make a Han Solo costume, you can. Link right here in the description and at the end of this video. But today, we're going to be making Han's best buddy, Lando. Alright, Donald Glover's take on the iconic character definitely seems interesting. This is what his really cool costume looks like, and I'm excited to make it. It seems pretty basic at first glance, but there are some interesting choices with color and technique that are gonna make this pretty cool. So let's get started. First up, Lando's yellow shirt. So I went to the thrift store to see if I could find something kind of similar. I, luckily enough, found this yellow long sleeve dress shirt here. It's not quite as vibrant, but I think it'll work. The main differences between this and his is his doesn't have any buttons. It has a black flap down here and a black area on the pocket. Should be pretty easy. Let's move to the overhead view. Alright, first things first, I had to remove all of the buttons on the shirt. Now, I did this with some little cutters instead of scissors because those might rip a hole in the shirt every time you cut a button off. But you still need to close it, so for that I used Velcro. Kind of like buttons there, I just cut up little bits and then put them on both sides of the shirt so it'll attach with Velcro and yet you won't see it. And then I cut up and added a little piece of black fabric from the cape we're going to be making in a minute to line the top of his pocket and make this little flap, which I think is supposed to be part of his shirt. Alright, so your yellow shirt is complete. Puts it on, and we'll do this in real time for you. Just pop it up like that. You Velcro, 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 Velcro it up. This thing comes over here, and there you go, your buttoned, buttonless shirt. The next thing Lando has, it's some kind of tie. It looks like a tie in this picture from the movie, but this toy makes it way bigger and kind of looks like a scarf, so I'm not really sure, some weird ascot thing, but I'm using this black tie from the thrift store. It's got some cool lighter stripes going across just like his, and I figure if we put it on kind of like this, don't tie it or anything, it'll look like this. There we go, just a tie, not tied. You don't have to wear some big scarf or anything. You do have to wear a cape though. That is a segue into the next thing we're making, Lando's awesome cape. Now this is interesting. I have made a lot of capes before, of course, Superman, Batman, but this is a new step. His cape is lined. You see, it's black on the outside and blue on the inside. Crazy stuff. So I have two different fabrics here. The first one is black. This is actually a bit I just ripped off of my Kylo Ren cape I made back in December. So it's weird shape right now, but we'll cut it because Lando's is actually smaller. And then for the inside of his cape, I bought this nice metallic blue color, which is very Lando, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to attempt to make some patterns for these capes. I'm probably just gonna wing it, and then this one will be smaller than this one, so it can be attached on the inside. How it's going to be attached, you're gonna have to wait and see. First, I planned out my cape size using Kylo Ren as the example here. Then, using the fabric scissors, I cut both that a little shorter and the blue fabric to match the black cape size, but just a little bit smaller. Alright, so now that we've got our two capes cut out, we're ready to attach them together. So for this, there's a number of different ways I've done it in the past. Typically, I've just glued it together, and you can certainly do that. Hot glue or fabric glue would be a pretty good idea, but today, we're gonna do something new. We're gonna do something never before seen, the unprecedented day on the Costume Kid. Yes, that is right. There comes a time when we must all face our fears. Today is the day the Costume Kid learns how to sew. Oh boy, the holy terror, here to ruin the homemade way of the Costume Kid. No, we're gonna try this out. You're gonna be along for the ride with me. I've never sewed before, so oh boy. Alright, so I started with pinning, and I just took my time here, did one section at a time. I would just pin a bit and then sew it, trying my best not to mess up. Keyword there is trying. Now, I think it turned out okay. There's definitely a lot of room for me to improve. I am far from an expert, and I know you professional sewers watching this are just screaming at your screen right now, angry at how I'm doing this. Now, I didn't sew the bottom of the blue fabric to it, I just hemmed it, because in this picture here, it looks like the bottom isn't really attached. I don't know what's up with that, so I followed the accurate picture. And just like that, my first sewing project is done. I mean, that was crazy. I'm looking forward to getting better at this skill in future videos, but it's not going to become a full-on sewing channel, don't worry. Oh wait, I also sewed on a little black rectangle of fabric to be kind of like a collar that will help me attach it to the shirt later. Alright, here we go. You put this thing on, the collar helps you line it up with his own collar on his shirt, and then, well, looks pretty good. I think I'm just going to use some more Velcro on the collar of the cape and the collar of the shirt so you can put it on or take it off depending on what version of Lando you feel the best like wearing. Yup. You should probably have someone help you on this part, but you know. Alright, there we go. You can pop this sides and the front a little bit. Lando's cape is complete. It's attached. It's pretty cool. Blue on the inside, black on the outside. Ooh. So working our way down, the next costume piece would be Lando's belt. But instead, we're gonna skip ahead here and make Lando's blaster. That is because on his belt he has a gun holster, and I kinda need to have the gun before I make that. Now, Lando's gun in this movie looks like it's a repainted version of an old Stormtrooper blaster, so I couldn't find that, but I found this squirt gun here. It's only like $2, and we're gonna start as this, build on top of it with some other materials, and then paint it silver. Alright, so I looked at my squirt gun toy and at a picture of Lando's gun, and then I just kind of tried to think of what pieces I had that could match it. I use a lot of pieces from my old junk box, which is just a combination of old plastic pieces and other things from old costumes. Now, this thing isn't going to be totally accurate by any means, but feel free to play around with it, have some fun making this, and trying to find different shapes that kind of work for this futuristic gun here. Well, wait, it's not a futuristic gun, it's a long time ago, but cool looking space blaster that maybe Lando could have used sometime. Running down the details here, you could choose to follow these or not, it's your own personal preference, but I added a little plastic shot glass that I had over the nozzle of the gun, and then a scrap piece of PVC pipe to be kind of like the scope. A few more details were made out of hot glue and some craft foam, but I mean that's pretty much it right there. Alright, so this hilarious little toy gun is all finished up now. It looks quite colorful, so it's time to paint it. So this gun, I'm just going to spray paint it silver. I'm not sure if it has any other colors or some weathering on it because I'm only looking at a picture of a toy from the movie, not what the actual prop looks like. But I mean, for a little squirt gun like this, I think it's going to turn out pretty good. Alright, and just like that, Lando's silver blaster is now complete. I think this thing looks pretty good. It's not perfectly accurate by any means, but I like it. It's a Star Wars blaster. The next step is to make Lando's belt, which has his gun holster. So the first thing I have here is this black belt. This will be our base, because he pretty much just wears a normal belt, and then it's got foam extended there to make the gun holster. As for that gun holster, I'm pretty much copying the same way I made it on the Han Solo belt a little over a year ago, except that was traced perfectly, oh boy, to fit this gun, as you can see, and I'm gonna make a new one to fit this gun, because they're a little bit different sizes. Alright, so I took my black belt, my Han Solo belt as a reference, and a bunch of black craft foam and just started making stuff. First of all, I made a couple of craft foam belt buckles that he has, just because I saw him in the picture. Then we'll get into the holster. Now these two craft foam squares, I'm going to paint silver real quick. Now, my basic process for making craft foam gun holsters is I take my gun and I put it on the foam and then just trace it, not exactly, but like a curvy shape bigger than the shape of the gun, and then I just cut some other strips of black foam and glued them over it. Essentially we're just making a pocket that the gun needs to slide into. I don't know how to describe it that well, but they're just these little straps that are secured to the side of it. They're not going to open up and stuff with any like latches, but you can just slide the gun in, slide the gun out, and yeah, it's basically how it works. I took the completed craft foam holster and glued it onto the belt so it'll fall just on top of your leg there. And then we're pretty good to call it a day on this finished belt. Alright, I think my belt is complete here. I'll put it on for you guys in real time. Here, step out over here so you guys can see me. Put the belt on like any other normal belt, but you flip it around to the back. Now the back side will be covered up by the cape, of course. And then you got your belt buckles in the front, looking very nice. And then you have this nice area over here to house your gun. Try to be gentle with it. The foam does have a little bit of a tendency to rip, but you put it in there, and boom, look at that. You can jump up and down, and it'll work just fine. And with that, the building portion of this costume is pretty much done here. The rest of this stuff you probably already own or can find at a thrift store or something nearby. Lando just wears some black dress pants, so you can really wear any black pants. You can find them at a thrift store, find them in your closet, whatever. And then what looks like some black dress shoes to go along with it. So pretty much everybody has black shoes or knows someone who has black shoes, so yeah. So now that this costume is complete, I have my Han and Lando costumes, so let's see that montage! So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing how to make this awesome Lando costume. Yeah. I was trying to get one of my friends who looked a little more like Donald Glover to play the part of Lando here in this montage, but it's Memorial Day weekend and everyone is out of town, so I got my brother here. Hey. But make sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you have any questions on this video, as well as your requests for future costumes, make sure to leave them in the comments section down below, as well as subscribe to this channel for new videos every other Sunday. Also, check out the Han Solo video if you didn't see that a little over a year ago. Alright, that is it. See you next time.